What's up, everybody? So this is week 5, our final video. This is going to cover what is due to complete the class, some cool stuff that I found online working in the past week, review of everything for the class, and a bit about when everything is due. So we're going to cover that part twice. So first off, what's due? Test 1 and the final exam, or the exemption if for some reason you can't do those. Or if you want to finish your final project, there was several students that inquired about that. You can do that. Just send it to me somehow, put it on GitHub, and fill out the exemption. Just say you're going to do the project instead. Those are your choices. So either test 1, which is already out there, and final exam, which is out there now too, under homework, or fill out the exemption if you can't complete those for any reason. Or if you want to finish the final project, just fill out the exemption and say I'm doing the final project and send. Excuse me, send that to me, that kind of thing. Which I think is kind of cool. I was thinking if people do the final project instead, and I have a couple of those, I might do a video talking about them and explaining them and reviewing them. All positive stuff. It could be kind of fun. So, those are your options. All that stuff is due Sunday, April 26th at midnight. Okay? So that's the schedule. That's the plan for what to do. So, cool stuff. There's been a lot of stuff in the news lately about COBOL and New Jersey, right? I'm sure you've seen this. This is very interesting. Upgrade our 8-track government. Experts say New Jersey call for COBOL programmers is a wake-up call. All of these articles, I won't even load them all and look at them right now. All of these, you can check them out. I'm sure you may have heard about this in the news already. COBOL, like Fortran, COBOL and Fortran are programming languages that may have, some of this code may have not been touched for, like they're talking 40 years. I've worked on a couple of mainframe IBM AS400 System 36 type applications that have had the same code for 20, 30, 40 years. And so this kind of stuff is an issue. And here's something really cool that could help solve it. So if you're interested in programming at all, this is a problem that's going to be around for quite some time. Okay? And making something like Visual Studio Code such that it can run COBOL code and execute it is not very hard. This example talks about the IBM ZOpen editor. There's the ZOpen editor and another extension for COBOL. There's a couple of them. So let's take a look here and look under our extensions and COBOL. So I have this COBOL from BitLang extension for language support. Let's see. We have, I think this one. Yeah. This is showing both the ZOpen editor extension and a debugger for COBOL. So here's a COBOL example, nicely formatted in Visual Studio Code. It's complaining about Java, which I still have to set up to complete this process, but I'm pretty close on this machine after trying for a little bit. I have a couple other COBOL IDEs that I've set up previously, but VS Code is nice. This is an opportunity right now. If you're interested potentially in programming, this is something you could learn about and something you get into. So here's something else that I saw this week. This is something called Snip IT. This is a relatively popular repository on GitHub. And if you look at GitHub trending, you can see popular repositories. I've seen this on here before. The Snip IT app is basically a web-based dashboard with an open source IT inventory and licensing management system. So this is something that's a big deal in terms of IT. So there's IT operations, asset management as a going concern in every business, and it's going to increase, right? You're going to always have more and more IT assets to worry about. You're always going to have more and more software licensing issues to worry about. Even if you're working with open source software, referencing those licenses also is important. And so anyways, long story short, this is focused on putting together a nice looking front end and all the Python pieces in the back end to gather this data together. So pretty cool. This kind of thing, if you learn how to set up something like this, can be very valuable for any kind of business. Really, any size business needs to keep track of this stuff. A lot of people already have this software, right? But you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people that still don't. And this is free, right? You can set this up, get it started. Very easy to get it started. You can check out the demo there. There's another piece of that to round out. If you're going to do complete asset management and network management, there's this OpenDCIM that's a data center infrastructure management application. Actually, Artie Gear, who teaches at Pitt Bradford, also showed this to me. So I think it's DCIM and DCIM. Yeah. So we don't have anything in there. Let's see, materials, supply bins, template management. Let's see if I can find anything cool in this example. Power panels. I don't think it comes with any data by default. So the general thing that you're doing here is this is more for the network hardware level of management. So the Snip IT piece is like your front end for all your assets in terms of computers and cell phones and devices like that. You might also have something like cloud tracks to manage network traffic itself too. But Snip and maybe something like cloud tracks are your front end pieces. And then this is for managing all of the network hardware, all the ports, from port to port connections, the panels themselves, how the hardware is wired, what voltage is necessary, that kind of thing. All those back end pieces are in there. And then you've got something like cloud tracks on the front end and Snip IT on the front end also. So you can have a good set of applications to keep track of your inventory, keep track of your licenses. What have you paid? What are you going to have to adjust at the end of the year because you've changed what software you're using? What software is actually really installed on devices? And who's really using that software? So this is an OOP class, but this is something that comes up. So I like to share this stuff with you because I think that's important. Okay, so anyways, something else for you to check out. It's pretty cool. This is just a minor one, but there's a lot of different websites where you can find software, and GitHub has all kinds of stuff for sure. But there's a website that's a classic software repository that is pretty cool that I wanted to mention. I happened to check it out over the weekend. It's one of the places I look at for finding new software, and it's called majorgeeks.com. And there's a couple links that I'll put underneath the video for like a free port scanner that's a simple port scanning application that you can use to do port scans your local network, see if there's any devices that are on the network, how many devices are on the network, what ports are open on those devices. There's something running web traffic or file sharing or that kind of stuff. That's one example of the kind of stuff you can get from MajorGeeks.com. Image burn or IMG burn is another one. You may have heard of that before. That's a popular image burning application. So, like I have a client, I have to install software on a server. I'm taking USB, two things probably. I'm going to take USB that I'm going to install using Rufus, take an ISO file and move it to a USB drive using Rufus. And I'll put that in here also. But if I have a server that for some reason I can't boot from a USB drive, sometimes older servers are like that. You might have older hardware that you're going to use something like FreeNAS with, this is a storage operating system for network attached storage. You could use this for, or virtual machine software and this. You might use that on older hardware, so you might have to fiddle around with installing via a disk potentially in some cases. But I'll put a link to that also. Just stuff that I'm using lately that's kind of cool. So this last one is something else that I found on Major Geeks. There's Major Geeks. So this has like a daily or almost daily update of new software that's free. So there's a lot of stuff you can get on GitHub, but there's some people that might make free software that's a simple utility application, like a free port scanner, and you can get that port scanner for free from them. There's no malware or anything in there in a lot of cases, but they have more robust applications that they're trying to sell. So it works out good for everybody. You can see that they're good developers. You can use the freeware app and then possibly purchase something more sophisticated from them if you need more features, or to support the developers too. So anyways, I love this kind of stuff. It's a good way to keep up on what's going on. A lot of these free utilities and free tools can make your work a lot easier if you're doing IT support and development. So it's important stuff to check out. Alright, so after that I'm going to have review links, and that'll have YouTube playlist of all the videos for the class, and then all the links from the videos once again so you can see them. So check all that stuff over, review everything, and then take the final exam, and of course test one if you haven't. So again, what is due? Test one and the final exam, those are both posted now, or the exemption form, or if you want to finish final projects, you worked on that, you want to do that, just do the exemption saying you're doing that, and then send me the final project. So those are your options. All that stuff is due Sunday night, April 26th at midnight. So that's the end of this, at the end of finals week. I give you to the very end of the week to get everything done, like major project style, like you would do at a business. So basically, Monday morning at some point, I go in there, I see everything that's in there, I look at everything that's in there, and I grade everything that's in there, and that's it. So just like in a business, you got a deadline, you got to hit it. By the time I'm graded, I'm done, I'm doing that. You know what I mean? I'm not answering emails about issues that you have. You know, it's Monday morning. Okay, it's April 27th. It's 4 a.m. You know, you just couldn't get to your stuff until now. You know, and listen. If you're having issues, you can fill out the exemption and take care of that before then. So Sunday, April 26th is it. So anyways, thank you so much for participating in the class. I hope you learned a lot of stuff. Let me know if you have any questions. If you ever need any help from me, you can contact me. I'm always here for you. So make sure to do the test in the final exam, or do the exemption or the final project. Let me know what's going on one way or the other. All right. So thanks everybody, and let me know if you have any questions. All right.